What up, guys? So this weekend we're kind of getting a late start out here. The owner stopped by. We finished up all the coolant filling up, flushed the motor out, fuel filter, all that sorts of stuff, and then we got talking a little bit. But anyway, so it's like 1 in the afternoon on Saturday. What I want to do this weekend, I'm going to try, is I want to get all the edges painted, the doors, the fenders, and the door jambs on the car, the trunk jam, because when I paint this, I want to put the doors, fenders, trunk all back on. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna start getting into. It's just basically I'm going to be sanding all this stuff with 180, and then come back with 320. Everything that's primed, meaning the fenders and door jambs and the trunk jam, I'm going to do all that with 320 because it's already been sanded down and fixed, right? So that's what we're going to work on. So I'll kind of set you up over here. It's just me just sanding all this stuff down, DAs, the mini one, the big one, and then Scotch-Brite, the scuff stuff, just getting it all set. I'm going to tape off the inside of the jams and stuff, but I'm not going to tape off the outside of the body of the car when I jam it all. Whatever overspray gets on the body, obviously I'm still going to block the whole body out, so it'll be fine. I may come out about 1 inch past the jams, just so it gives something to adhere to, but yeah. So that's what we're gonna work on now, I hope. Again, I'm hoping I get this done this weekend, enough to do this, get some color on this thing, but we'll see how it goes, right? Yeah, let's just start getting into it. Okay, guys, so I started sanding these down, and the black paint that got sprayed in there is just kind of flaking off, and it's flaking off in a lot of tight areas. I'm not super excited about that. It's going to be a little bit just stripping these inside of the door panels down. Well, not stripping it down to metal, but definitely getting all the loose stuff off so I can prep this stuff underneath, which is actually the original paint. So I found a little bit more rust in this door. This was the door, it was pretty decent, but as you start sanding it out along the pinch weld, or the pinch skin, door skin is actually wrapped over and it's hammered down. There's some rust that's popping through, so I'm going to fix that real quick as well. I'm just not super excited about all the peeling paint. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish stripping these down a little bit, and then I'm gonna work on that area over there. It's just like I've been doing, just welding a small little, it's only about like that big, and I can't get that little piece of copper down in where it's at, so I'm just gonna have to cut out like a small circle about the size of a quarter, and then just kind of weld it all in there and then smooth it up. Be a little bit better with the welding and the smoothing, so hopefully I can just kind of go over it with 180. I mean, it's not really a place that you see, but actually you won't see it, but still, it's still rust that needs to be taken care of. It's not a weep hole for water, it's rust. So let me get after that. Alright guys, so the amount of time that it took to strip down all the flaking paint and all that, I'm just going to focus today on the door jambs. On these, get these painted, and then tomorrow hopefully get the other stuff. But so I taped it off, I cleaned it all up. I used a waterborne wax and grease remover, wiped it all down. So now I'm going to do a coat of epoxy for like a sealer down, and then I got to wait an hour for that to set up, and then I'm going to start painting it and then clear it, and we'll see how this goes. Let's do it. Okay guys, so I've got the epoxy primer shaking up. Since this is going to be like a seal coat, I am not using the Amazon special gun at a 1.7 tip. What I did was I have one of my paint guns from work. This is a Sada RP 4000, 1.3 tip. Yep, so I'm going to use this. I brought both my guns home. One I use strictly for clear, but I think for door jambs I'm just going to use this one for everything. This used to be my clear gun back in the day. Now it's my base gun, but I can clear with it too. Just so you know, I'm going to be using my Sada for this stuff. And also, I'm not going to be using the Harbor Freight's cup system because my gun, the 4000 gun, the adapter actually is a press fit, so I'm kind of like, I'm basically screwed. That's the only thing I can use are these. And these are the PPS 3Ms. So they have the mixing scales on them. So this is still 4 to 1 to 1. So I'll just mix it up here so it's a small amount. This is 6.8 ounce. And then I have the 22 point something ounce for the base and for the clear. So let me go mix this up, and then wait an hour, and then clear, and it'll look brand new. All right. Alright guys, so I mixed up the base coat, the epoxy primer sealer has sat, and yeah, so you mix up the Diamond 2 to 1, so 2 parts base coat to 1 part UR reducer. I am using UR60, I always use it at work, I don't care what temperature it is, I just use UR60. So I'm going to go ahead and mix it up 2 to 1. And then we'll start shooting it, and I'm shooting it with my Sada 4000 RP. It's a 1.3 tip. Pressure at the cap, gun, whatever, I don't know. I just listen, and that's how I shoot. So here we go. There it is, 2 to 1. So on the cup, I just did 2 to 1. That's 2 to 1. Shaking it up. Yep. Gonna tack this off and then go from there. So I'm gonna let that sit for about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. It's pretty warm out today, and I'm using 60 reducer, so it'll flash off fast. If you notice, like around the hinges, I put the fan down to a point, turn the air pressure down a little bit, so I could get into all those nicks and crannies without basically, if you have a wide fan on areas around there, and you're trying to hit it and you keep going over it, sometimes you'll cause it, I don't want to say a run, because bass really doesn't run. It'll sag out, and then all the metallics will kind of slide down. So when you put it in a point, I held it up, I just kind of, I don't know, you get the feel for it, but you just kind of like manipulate it all in there around the edges and stuff like that. So basically the hinges are coated, where now I can go over with my normal fan over all of it, and I won't have an issue. If that makes sense. So I'm going to let that kick off for a little bit. I mean, really, it's already dry. So yeah, so I'll be back in probably 5 minutes, and then I'll hit it again. I'll tack it in between, because I am painting out in an open air condition, but today is perfect. There's like zero wind. I got the fan going just a little bit, and yeah, it's awesome. So this is also giving me an idea how many coats. I'm hoping 2 will do it, 1 more coat, and then I can clear it. But if I have to go 3, I will. But this is giving me a good idea on the body, so I'm keeping track. I mean, I know when you open up the door that you won't be able to see a difference if there's just like a shade off, but you understand what I'm saying, right? I'm sure you do. Okay. Be back. So I've got a little bit left of base, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a 3rd coat on it. So I mixed up a 5. Yeah, so I mixed up the 5. Well, I'll show you later. But so I'm just going to put 1 more coat on there. Yeah, just because I have a little bit left. Alright guys, so I got 3 coats of base. Let me spin the camera around and show you how it looks so far, and then I'll show you how much I mixed up for just those 2 edgings. Alrighty, so there it is. And I did go way in on taping the door, because the door panel actually comes around all the way around here, but I went all the way in. And then you can see with the hinges, I got all up in there. You know, in the real world, obviously, you would take the hinges off and all that stuff, but I didn't, so I'm good with that. But you can see it's just that depth of the blue is that it's quite awesome, actually. And this, excuse me, and this right here is where the little rust hole was right here that I fixed, and I just kind of metal finished it out. You can see a little bit right there, a little bit right there. Excuse me. But yeah, it's a beautiful color. Okay, so to do these 2 doors, I mixed it up. Here's the 2 to 1, 2 to 1 to 1, but I just mixed it 2 to 1. So I mixed up a 5 to 5. So when you swing that around, that was roughly 12 ounces of sprayable to do these 2 doors, edging them. Oh, and I also did all this in here. Obviously that will be back taped, and then all that will be, there's a big molding that goes there, but that's back taped. Oh, and they tell you not to touch the paint with your greasy hands, but my hands aren't greasy, so we're good. But it just looks really good. I just like how it looks. This color is an amazing color. Alright, so we're going to let that sit up, and for probably, I don't know, about 10 minutes or so. As you can see, it's already dry. Dry to the touch for sure. But I'll give it 10 minutes and then we'll just put 2 coats of clear on it and then call it a day. Sometimes when I get to this stage of painting, it's like, oh man, it only would have been like 2 hours to prep those fenders. I could have got those painted, I could have got that painted, but yeah, no. I'll do all that hopefully tomorrow. So here's the clear. So it's LC 4500, it's Limco clear. And then LHM is the Limco medium hardener for it. And then the system uses LR reducer, but I use the UR60 reducer. It's a better reducer, especially for the clear. LR reducer obviously is a lot cheaper, but the UR reducer is just amazing for the clear. And that's been using this clear at work for probably, oh, I don't know, 10 years. And we've come to find out that the UR reducer, out of the last 10 years, we've probably used UR reducer with the clear for the last 9.5 years. All right, so let me mix this up. It is a 4 to 1 to 1. 4 to 1 to 1 ratio. So 4 parts, 1 part, 1 part. You know, normal flash times in between until it's sticky or dry. And then, yeah, so let me mix this up. All right, tacking it off and coat 1. So coat 1 of the clear basically for me is just to get everything kind of tacked up. So it's not like you go really heavy with it. I mean, it's like medium to medium. Second coat of clear for me is I put it on how I want it to look overall, if that makes sense. So I give that about 15 minutes to flash off. Especially in the conditions that I've got here, and then I'll come back and I'll just hammer it pretty heavy. I'm kind of heavy-handed when it comes to clear, but yeah, so this one, when you first put on the coat, it looks shiny and everything, but when you get up on it, it's like, it doesn't look dry, but it looks like it's just like a tack coat. So yeah, so I'm going to give this some more time, and then I'm going to hammer it. Let me clean out my gun and I'll show you. All right. So there we go. So it's 2 coats of clear. Second coat obviously is a lot heavier than the first. But that's going to be awesome. Not too bad. So as far as the clear goes, I mixed up 12 ounces as well. 2 coats, so it kind of gives me an idea. And yeah, they look great. I'm gonna let that set up for, I don't know, about 5-10 more minutes. And then I'm gonna untape it all, because that's what I do. And then hopefully tomorrow, I think that's gonna be it for today. It's already what, 4 o'clock. So I wanna take the boys somewhere for like a food truck thing going on. This lobster food truck that my wife's friends run. They're finally being on this side of the bay. So we're gonna go to that. So anyway, so tomorrow I'm hoping I'll get the fenders sanded up, the trunk jambs, and the door jambs, and the cowls down the side, right? So stick with me, and then we'll catch you in the morning. Thanks. All right, guys, so it's the next morning. Let me flip you around and I will show you how these came out. So this is the second day. It's all dried up. Sometimes when you paint something, when you first paint it, it always looks super awesome because, you know, it's all fresh and nothing sunk down, that kind of deal. But this is day 2, and it looks amazing. Still. But as you can see, I did tape it off. The door panel actually goes right along here and then up. So I did mask it off, basically because I want to see all my witness marks for all the vent window stuff, so I can put it all back in the exact same spot. But it looks great. So last night I did come back out here after these had set up, and I sanded all the jambs on the fenders inside, and then I started sanding the trunk area right here, the trunk jamb. That is a lot of hand sanding, like, oh my god. So yeah, that's gonna be a minute to get that all taken care of, to get it ready to paint. So I have a feeling what I'm gonna do is basically get this ready to paint, because this isn't as bad as the trunk with all those basically what it is like sanding all up in here is the hardest part, all up underneath here. This I already sanded, but and I want to go out past the lip. You can see, like right there, there's a little something going on there, a little something, but I want to fix that up. I want to fix all that stuff, and this is a great time to do it. So I may have to reprime those sections there. As I'm looking at it up here, even though there is a cover that goes all the way across here. So I think today what I'm going to focus on is these parts right here on both sides. The only thing I'm really seeing about painting this all together is that once the door is on, it covers about this much of the A-pillar. So yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna, unless I tape off the door and then be able to open the door to get in here when I go to paint the body. So that, I mean, I'm probably gonna paint it up to about here, this whole section here, because it's gonna go just like that. And that part's gonna be the black, and this part is gonna be the blue. So yeah. But we'll tackle that as we get there. And also on the back window, I want to drill and mount all these little tabs for the chrome piece that goes all the way around in the back. And I'd rather do that before I paint it, just so paint goes into the areas that I'm drilling, right? Anyway, so let's set you up here and let's see if we can get these all sanded up. And then go from there. so it's all sanded up. So now I'm going to do that to the other side. We'll be back. So I'm going to start laying the paper out. I am going to put color up to here, so it covers this and not up to there. So yeah, so let me put some paper on it and then we'll get to getting. Alright guys, we're all taped up. So this is basically just taped up to do jams, right? So no overspray goes inside the car, on the dash, stuff like that. And then also none of the trash inside the car comes out on everything that I'm doing. So I did spend about 3 hours to do the rear section along where the trunk goes. Hopefully this is the last time I have to do all this, because once I get all this painted, then I can pop the doors on, put the fenders back on, put the trunk back on, and yeah, so that way I can back tape on the trunk instead of backing tape on the doors, stuff like that. So we'll move you on over here somewhere. So there we go. You can sort of see what I'm about to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the trunk back over there. It's covered, so there's no overspray that's going to get on it. I'm going to put the fenders up on their own stands, basically set them up like this instead of like that. Actually, so I'm going to take the stand, the fender, set it up on the stand so I can get all the jams in there up into the wheel well and the back. I am gonna pull the front curtain closed, just so it stops some of the air, from coming in, because I am doing all these. We're not doing the pull. There we go. Because I am doing all that up there, so I can pull the curtains. While we were cleaning up the shop a little bit, we did find, let me show you. We did find all the original curtains for this track system. So I am super excited about that, because I gotta take them, I gotta open them all up, I gotta blow them all off, clean them, stuff like that. But that is the exact curtain that goes around this track. So I'm super excited about that. But until I get it all out there and cleaned up and hung up, I'm just gonna pull that front curtain, and then I'm gonna have the fan blowing, and I'm gonna turn on the lights, because why not? Let's see how this works, right? Okay, so give me a second here, let me do all that stuff, and we'll go from there. I'll kind of put you right there, I think. I mean, it's not the best view, but you kind of get the idea. All right, so we'll be right back. So that's actually looking pretty darn good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let me finish setting up here. Curtains up, floor I blew out. So let me spin you around and show you what we got. Not too bad. Yeah, once I get those other curtains, those curtains all cleaned up and down that side, that's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome for the little bit of paint that I do at the house. All right, and that's what I meant by I was putting the fenders up this way, so I can hit there, the inside fender well, and then the back piece. Right, I got my 2 coats of epoxy primer / sealer down. We all know the drill. I'm gonna wait 45 minutes to an hour and then come back and start basing it, and then we'll clear it. I'm really glad I took the extra 3 hours to take care of all that in the back, because I was really dreading it. I was like, oh man, sometimes you get in the mindset of like, oh man, I gotta get this painted, I gotta paint the door, I gotta do something here. I'll just leave that for later. Well, later always creeps up on you, and then it's like more work when you're not trying to do that, right? So took the extra hour, 3 hours there to sand all that. There was a couple little pinholes right along that edge, as it comes into the jamb. So I took care of the pinholes, and since I was epoxy priming it / sealer, I just made sure that I put a couple coats of the epoxy over that, so to lock it all in. So it's really, ultimately, it was a lot better that I did do all that. So let me just kind of walk you around here and show you what we got. So what I'm doing is I'm going over about 1 inch over where I want the color. So when I do the black, I can come in 1 inch right there, and then from there over will be black. but at least that will be painted, so I'm not trying to chase a line. And then some people may be thinking, like, why am I not taking off this inside kick panel and why am I taping it? Well, because I can't get it off because of the roll cage down there is actually like up against it where I can't get it off, right? So anyway, so the jam, and then I did sand out, you'll see right about there, just to give that something to adhere to, so when I foam tape it or back tape it or whatever I do, this has definitely got some adhesion to it, right? And then we all know that I explained it, the whole bottom section from here down, all the way down across, will be the 3M chip guard stuff. But so I put the chrome piece on and it covers all the way to here. So from here forward we'll be painting. Well, when the trunk closes, it closes about there. So it'll be back taped, but all this is done now. And then my pinholes were actually like right here. So I just, with a little bit of glazing putty. It's a two-part, it's still the 3M platinum glaze stuff. But anyway, and I didn't put paper down here because one, I'm not worried about the exhaust anymore because he's taking that off, he said, and he's going to be running something different, more attuned to the 442 style bumper, which the exhaust ports come out here and here, so basically on the ends. So he's just going to get rid of that, and he's going to do a couple 90s. We're gonna bend up some pipe and get it done here. There. But I don't have any like hard edges, right? That's why he's just kind of controlling how you spray. But yeah, there. And then the same with there. Again, no hard edges, so it will feather out. Down there. And then the same here. I will be taking it over an inch right there, and that will be black. Same with up in here. And I put the fenders this way so I could get all that really nice here. And then I will be doing the jam in there. And then obviously I'm going to paint all that there. So when I put the fenders back on, I have to put the fenders on with the wheel wells. So I can back tape it along that edge. Yeah. And then the same with this side. Okay. So I'm gonna go grab something to eat real quick, and that should be about my time. And then we'll start basing it and getting it painted. All wiped down. Ready to go. So right there, you can see why I turn the fan down so I can get all up underneath that lip. I can just like that. So now that I know that's covered, it's just basically on the first pass. Okay. So now we'll put the fan normal, and then we'll go to the other side and the fender. So, base is all down. I did 2 coats of base, more than enough, actually. So let me swap you around and show you how it looks. I think that'll be just fine. Up in there, I already explained about the no hard edges. All done. That whole rear panel is done, so that's awesome. So when I put the trunk on, I'm all set to go. Fenders are all edged up. And then this side. All right, let's mix up some clear. So for this, I'm gonna use my SATA 5000 RP. It has the better fan. I like it better for clear. This is strictly my clear gun at work. So all the bass, I used my SATA 4000 RP 1.3 tip, and this is my 5000. And I don't use a regulator off it. I kind of regulate at the wall a little bit. So anyway, so I'm going to use this one. I like the fan better for clearing. So that's what I'm going to use. the jambs are painted. So let me flip you around and just walk you around. So there it is. And like I was saying, I'm going to bring it over midway between that seam sealer right there. All the way up and then over. And all this is going to be black. Yep. Looks pretty good. You know, it's for what I'm doing, man, this came out great. Like, seriously? All inside the flare there, so now I can back tape all the way along there. Got that whole lip up here. All that. Oh, yeah. Looks pretty awesome. So that's gonna wrap up this weekend for sure. Got a lot done this weekend, really tackled a lot of stuff on this car. Yeah, there's nothing more to say, just amazing weekend. So hit like, share, subscribe, all that other fun stuff they tell you to do at the end of the videos, and yeah, go out and build something cool. One piece at a time. Thanks for watching. Bye.